The Endurance Cup concludes tonight in America's Dairyland. But first, we have to relive the first photo finish in NASA history from the Mitten State, specifically at the thumb of the Mitten in Bark River in Michigan. AU. Speaking of iDrive sim training, one of their cars on the outside of the front row, Luke Kraus, holding the red plate after Sindre Silva's disqualification from the championship. And we thank you all for joining us here on Nitro Circus Twitch. Hashtag NASA on Nitro. Be sure to join the conversation not only there, but at NASA on iRacing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're watching on the Automotive Sports Network on demand, thank you for joining us here. Hashtag ASNTV USA. And we will have the Discord links not only in chat, but in the description of the on-demand show. Charlie Daniels in Twitchland, Victor Vallee in the production truck, Cody Erdmann next to me in the commentary cube. I am Josh Mertz as we bring you live coverage of the NASA Rallycross Challenge here on Nitro Circus Twitch. Luke Kraus, Bodie Cryer will lead us to the green flag here in Michigan as we in Bark River. Cryer gets a better jump than Kraus, but over the jump for the first time. Kraus leads Cryer, Philip Kraus in third, Cohen Attard, Hook, Kingsbury, Hartley, Schofield, H. Lambert, Forrest is around, awesome. And we have the 434 of Fleming struggling as well. Subaru's in the top 5 positions. Then we have a Volkswagen in 6th. Exiting turn 3, over the jumps, into turns 4 and 5, and the dirt, the crest, the dirt jump, whatever you want to call it. Very tricky corner. We've seen calamity all race long. Luke Kraus right on the rear wing of Bodie Cryer in the 05. Philip Kraus loves this. So does Hook. Over the whoops. Points leader Kraus in the 134, stuck behind Cryer. As we pass the pit lane entrance, over what I thought was the start at the beginning of the show. Hook slides it over there, nearly hits the wall. And a very clean start here, Cody. Cryer out front, Kraus, Hook, and that's Attard bowling his teammate out of the way.
As I believe that was Hook. Yeah. The Hook was trying to get under Phil and had to check up. Hook was over.
Goes Hook in the 137.
As I think we got a full count up to 6 now, as Kieran also got checked up there.
The count is at 6.
As we got a battle for the lead up here is Cryer and Luke Kraus putting on a show up here for the fans with Philip Kraus P3. And then, yeah, Attard and Kingsbury's up to P5, so good way of making his way through the field.
As Hartley dives it in on Matt Kingsbury, can't make it stick. So the 2020A champion trying to take the fight to one of his rivals from that season. Through the chicane, Hartley very respectful to Matt Kingsbury over the crest. As we look at the battle for the lead off screen, Kingsbury has just drove it into the fence in the 21. Kraus battling Cryer, trying to take the fight. Granted, the last lap was the first lap. It was half a second difference between Cryer and Kraus, and it was Cryer that had the faster lap. And you are jumping into the unknown effectively when you make these crests. We enter the final sector. On board Luke Kraus in the 134, the fiercely forward Subaru. Remember, Fiercely Forward and Spark effectively teammates in, not effectively in the Sports Car Championship. I don't think they're going to be that nice to each other here in Rallycross, but Cryer holding off Kraus and then Philip Kraus in the 19 very close.
Yeah, just a reminder that Luke Kraus is up on Philip Kraus in the point standing, so this would give him more of an advantage going into Crandon.
As entering that corner, I just looked at the bumps and the whoops that they had to go through. It reminds me of the Aspen circuit we used to run on NASCAR 2003, because you have to take the first jump and not land in between the first jump and the last one. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit ugly.
Oh.
Cryer over the crest. Little bit slideways to the inside goes Kraus in the 134. These guys side by side. It's going to open up the opportunity for Philip Kraus in the 19, but Kraus is not there. Through the whoops, he was a little bit sloppy in the 19. Cohen Attard in the 131 getting close. We can't take our eyes off this battle, Cody.
Yeah, no, these two both ran 117.1s to Philip Kraus's 117.6. So putting a half a second on the field as Hartley jumps up to P4 as he got around Attard.
As we begin lap number 4 here in just a moment. Cryer was wide on the berm. He's going to open up the inside to Kraus in the 134. Better run off the corners. Cryer utilizing the all-wheel drive, and Kraus still holds second as we begin lap 4.
Oh, as Kraus looks to do the crossover, but was played it smart because, as we saw in the onboard there, you couldn't even see him for a second there as he tries to cut up the inside.
3 contact between them. Luke Kraus saves it in the 134, side by side. Very respectful are these two drivers. And Bodie Cryer trying to get his first win along with Luke Kraus in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. Cryer, very good on the stadium truck tracks. We've mentioned that before. As we get close to crossed flags, halfway home on lap number 4 of the feature race here in Michigan. As Cryer not sliding through that corner, Cody. I don't know if that's going to hurt him.
No, as he also ran kind of wide. I think he was trying to use a little bit of the cushion out there that's built up. As Kraus is now trying to put all the pressure on Cryer here, see if he can pull a maneuver out as he does the crossover here. Cryer shuts the door on him. Definitely some kind of short track dirt oval moves trying to be pulled here, and none of it's working.
As he utilized a little bit of the berm, did Cryer in the 0-5, trying to maintain the advantage as we take crossed flags halfway home in the feature race here in Bark River. Over the crest of turn 1, Cryer ahead of Kraus. We're not missing anything. Actually, we are. Hook and Aish contact over the jump, and over goes Hook again. Flip count is up to 7 as those guys brawling in the back of the field.
As also with these top two, they've checked out to 4 seconds on Philip Kraus. Oh, as Cryer bounces off the inside berm, that gives his run to Luke Kraus.
But he slides it very conveniently in front of Luke Kraus over the crest. And he positions his car unintentionally in the best places after mistakes like that. I wish I could get that lucky. But 4 seconds ahead of Philip Kraus, and it's a further 4 seconds from Kraus to Hartley. And I really want to pay attention to the middle of this field, but we can't because of the shenanigans. It's Fleming. I was looking off monitor. Fleming hit the berm and nearly drove onto the other side of the track. That could have ended in a catastrophe.
As he's battling with Attard for P8. He was in P8 and then lost it there to Attard, so see if he can possibly get it back.
Cryer over the berm. Maintaining the run on the outside is crucial to Cryer holding this lead. The level of respect between these two is immense as we take 3 laps to go here in Bark River in Michigan. And this might look processional. It might not be very action-packed from the outsider's point of view, but to see these cars driven to perfection, side by side, so respectfully, blows my mind as to how they can do it through the chicane. This has to be one of the toughest parts of this track, and I say that as the whole track is difficult. But Cryer landed pointing towards the wall, and he saved it.
Yeah, he's been doing that. It's kind of been scared me a little bit, but he's able to snap it right back to the right. I wonder if he's kind of Scandinavian flicking it going into the corner.
Kraus was wide on the entry. That made him cut down for the exit of the corner. Cryer still holding this advantage. Nothing between these two drivers as we get to 2 laps to go here with a couple corners left. Kraus to the inside. Will he try and take the line that Cryer did? No, he can't. Not yet. Cryer shuts the door.
I'm surprised that Cryer or that Luke
on the binders there.
I'm surprised that Luke hasn't tried something different. He's been running just the same thing, and it's not working. Like, if I was in Luke's favor, like when I was chasing you or you were chasing me, like after a couple times if something not working, let's go dig in the bag a little bit and see if there's a different move he can pull on him. As
I am just speechless as to what we're witnessing with 2 laps to go. On board Luke Kraus in the 134. The last lap was a 1:18.7 for Kraus. Hit the berm there in the 134. Cryer was 0.3 up on the Canadian that last lap. He does it again. Every time that I think he's going to run it wide and put it in the fence, he just makes the corner.
Yeah, he's been putting the car exactly where he wants. As he runs a little wide there, that gives a chance to Luke Kraus to catch up here. And Luke's been running very tight through that section there each lap.
If I look at these cars, 5th gear, 6th gear, I don't think they're going to be shifting at all. Down to 3rd gear, I think, is the lowest gear. To the inside, Kraus goes on Cryer. Side by side, will they make contact? No. We get ready to take the white flag here in Bark River, and this battle has been going on all day long, all race long, between Cryer and Kraus. Cryer has the outside run like he has all race long. White flag in Bark River. We might see a photo finish for a victory in the first time in the 9 years of this championship. We might see one. Kraus has to do something different here, Cody. He's got to make it around Cryer.
Yeah, as these two been putting on a great show, as the back of the field really hasn't changed with Philip Kraus, Matt Hartley, Jason Hook, David Schofield, Daniel Aish, Canona Tard, Parker Fleming, Lambert, Kingsbury, Forrest, and Kingsbury 1 lap down.
Inside, Kraus on Cryer, exiting turn 5. Can't make it happen. Cryer pushed it out wide, but he held his momentum well. It's something that is so difficult to get right. I feel my voice becoming scratchy. We have to maintain this, though. Contact between them. Kraus has to make something happen. Over the jump. Will he take the fight? He does, but they made contact, and Cryer holds the spot. Final couple of corners, and Kraus is getting desperate. He's got to make something happen as we wind through the final corner. Will he take the berm on the outside? Will Cryer hold the spot? Final corner is coming up, and Bodie Cryer holding the spot. Kraus to the inside, off the final jump. This is it, side by side, coming to the line. Kraus has a run, he can't do it. Cryer wins in Bark River, ahead of Luke Kraus, and Philip Kraus comes home in 3rd.
It is an absolute stunning race we've had there. As Philip Kraus brings home, Yep. Phil P3, it was my stuff was trying to catch up here. Philip Kraus P3, Matt Hartley P4, Jason Hook in 5th, Schofield in 6th, and then Canona Tard in P7, Daniel H P8, then Parker Fleming in P9, Brandon Lambert, Kieran Forrest, and Matt Kingsbury rounding out your final here as we put on a show here at Bark River.
While we wait for our hopefully top 3, as we know Luke Kraus doesn't do interviews usually, we're going to wait for our top 3. I'm going to get Charlie Daniels to give us a Twitch reaction to the feature.
Chat is collectively trying to figure out where our lower jaws are on the floor. What a race, guys. Wow. One thing I did want to say, first of all, Liquid Wrench with the 200 bits during that race. Cheering hard for the racers. Nice. Thanks for the support. And prior to the race, I spoke to Luke Kraus, and he said he actually adjusted his setup to sacrifice some speed to keep the car from bottoming out on some of those big rolling jumps. I'm wondering if that speed sacrifice is coming back to bite him there in that final couple turns where he's looking for that first place finish, guys. I know he probably won't come in for an interview, but if you happen to grab him, it'd be an interesting conversation to have, that's for sure.
As we're going to have a chat, Cody's going to have a chat with Philip Kraus here. We're going to bring in our 3rd place man, Philip Kraus, Cody Erdmann. We're all former teammates here, but Cody, this interview is all yours.
Hey there, Phil.
Hello.
You do not sound like your normal voice of being alone. Them two really checked out, and you were kind of lonely man on the island there in P3 the whole time.
Yeah, just kind of vibing in no man's land. Didn't have the pace to catch them, but kind of had enough pace to keep the guys behind at a comfortable distance. So just riding around for 3rd the whole race. Apparently they had a really battle the whole race, so I'll have to watch that back sometime.
Yeah, they put on a great show up there. We're hoping to see you up there as well. Is there any spot that you felt like they were kind of beating you? Like, is there a certain section that you think you should try to work? Or, well, that's gonna sound bad. Like a spot that you know where you can work on when we come back here?
Yeah, not really. There was like one of the 3rd last corner I was messing up a fair few times, but other than that, I felt like I was driving decent. I just wasn't quick enough.
Well, put on a great show here. Especially in that your heat race, you checked out and just ran away from them. So, what sponsors would you like to thank here for having a P3 run?
Spark Virtual Racing, drivesvr.com. That's their website if you want to check them out. They got some pretty cool rigs. And obviously, the boys at Nitro Circus for helping us out and really putting us in the limelight. Wouldn't be able to be on the scale we are without y'all.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Phil. We'll see you at mine and yours home state track of Crandon.
Yes, sir.
Every interview I do, I'm not prepared, but I'm really not prepared for this. Bodie Cryer, what the hell did you do to maintain that lead, and how was that race?
Oh man, that race was so much fun. It was a nail biter. Yeah, it was such a good race. We've been practicing all week for this. I'm glad it turned out good.
Describe to me, obviously, the battle between you and Kraus, but how difficult it is to maintain focus on this, relatively speaking, crazy or insane or whatever you want to call it track.
I think I probably have a little bit of an advantage just because I run the trucks all the time. So I mean, I'm already used to this track, so I didn't really have to learn the racing line. But other than that, I mean, yeah, Luke was all over me. So I mean, it was I saw him in the rearview mirror the whole time. So it is just really fun.
As I don't think I've got anything else. Cody, do you have anything for our race winner?
I will one compliment. You put on a great show for us. It was amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you had something? If Luke did happen to get around you, did you think you had something like a move or a spot that you knew that you were better than him, that you were able to take advantage and pass him back by if he did get there? Which for you, he didn't. So.
Well, I felt like I had I had something on the like after the jump, after the start line, that weird off camber jump, like at that little straightaway right before the next jump. I felt like I had something there. I kept pulling from people. So I mean, that was about the only thing I felt like I had.
Yeah, it was. You seemed to pull up there, and then he would kind of catch you back up in that little
Right.
whoop section. So it put on a perfect show for us, and then that was our first photo finish coming to the line. So it's glad to see you guys in it.
Yeah.
As before we let you go, do you have any partners, any sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank for the result tonight?
Oh, of course. You guys for putting on the show. iDrive Sim Training, DGR, everybody over there. We all have a blast. Couldn't do it without them. That's about it.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what. This result puts you 5th in the championship, which 73 down, which it's a decent amount down. But there is the little Endurance Cup Championship, the mini championship, and we go to Crandon next week. So maybe everyone else just shouldn't show up, right?
Well, hey, no, they should definitely show up. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my hopes up for Crandon. That's my other favorite track.
All right, buddy. Well, good run tonight, and we will see you next week in Wisconsin.
All right, thank you.
As Bodie Cryer becomes the 32nd winner in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, and this is actually, while I have this document up, this is the first time that we have multiple first-time winners since 2020A, because it was Jake Robertson, Matt Hartley, Okenhaug, Matt Kingsbury, and Harberts. So 2 first-time winners this season. It was Rafos and Bodie Cryer. Charlie Daniels, Twitchland summary, your thoughts, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Big old love fest in chat about what an amazing race that was, guys. I'm hoping everyone who's hanging out for this race comes back for our streams next week, because we can guarantee there'll be at least a few moments like this, and maybe even better.
And Cody?
Yeah, if this is any indication what we have coming for next week, you're definitely going to want to tune in, as this was, I would say, probably one of the top 3 races we've had so far this season, if not number 1. And Crandon, my home track for this series, although, fun fact, never been there because it's like 4 hours north of me. So one day, me and my girlfriend would probably go there. Josh, I would love for you and your lovely girl or fiance to come join us.
We'll get there.
Yeah, this was an amazing show, and I'm really looking forward to next week in Crandon.
As I'm assuming Victor Vallee is not going to want to have a final thought, so I'll go ahead and I will wrap this guy up. Programming notes for Nitro Circus Twitch, powered by the Automotive Sports Network. Next week, like we mentioned, we have the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Penguin RC Simulation NASA Sports Car Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll join myself, Charley Daniels, and Mike Berry for that show. And next week, the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus, has the Crandon Off-Road Experience by iDrive Sim Training in Wisconsin. As for today's Sim Training Bark River Brawl, it is in the books with the first ever photo finish. And I know we're not looking at live pictures, but it's very fitting that the sun sets on the track with no lights to darkness after that crazy race. From all of us here at Nitro Circus, North American Simulated Auto Racing, and the Automotive Sports Network, Victor Vallee, Cody Erdmann, Charley Daniels, Chad Irvine, Mike Berry, Brandon Lambert, Ray Kingsbury. I am Josh Mertz. Whether you're joining us on Nitro Circus Twitch or ASN On Demand, hashtag NASA on Nitro, or hashtag ASN TV USA, we will see you either Monday or Wednesday. But until then, so long, everyone. We saw the first photo finish in NASA history last week in Bark River. But interestingly, our current points leader has not yet won a race in the championship. The main question is, will anyone catch Bodie Cryer for the Endurance Cup as we conclude that mini championship today in Wisconsin? We are at the Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, and we've had 2 crazy races in the past here, and we hope to make it a third. As we welcome everyone here to the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus, powered by the Automotive Sports Network, as it's Josh Mertz and Cody Erdmann in the commentary cube, Victor Vallee in the production truck, Charley Daniels in Twitchland, and we do actually have a special guest that I'll mention here in just a few moments. Coming into today's race in Crandon, and I'm going to cut our guy Victor Vallee some slack here. He's not feeling very good, so our graphics technically aren't done, but you'll just have to listen to my lovely voice as we go through the Drivers' Championship, presented by Simracer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by Simracers for Simracers, and our 23 Simracers will race to own the winner's coin tonight. We have Luke Kraus, 174, ahead of Philip Kraus, as it's Hartley, Parisi, Cryer, Hook, Ray Kingsbury, Matt Kingsbury, Okenhaugen, Schofield. It's a really tight battle from realistically 5th back to 10th. No Connor, of course, as he withdrew after a couple of races ago. The Constructors' Championship, presented by iDrive Sim Training. Drive safe, arrive safe. Spark LLM, 34 points up on Fiercely Forward. So the Connecticut squad looking to lock up a 2nd consecutive championship. They got a couple weeks left. And it is certainly theirs to lose, to be perfectly honest. Ferris Shifters, Jim Beaver Esports, and iDrive Sim Training round out the top 5 there. The Manufacturers' Championship by Ferris Shifters. Shift your way to the top. Subaru already clinched that championship. 97 points up on Ford, and Volkswagen was 113. By the way, Ferris Shifters, facebook.com/Ferris Shifters, if you're looking for a new shifter for your rig. And the Sportsman Cup. And I'm going to give a full disclaimer. Not saying that Justin Robichaux might be winning or losing in this championship, but I messed up. I'm taking responsibility. He is supposed to be scored in this championship. I never fixed it, so we'll figure it out for next week. But It's presented by KES Industries, Keep Up Spinning Industries, Adaptive Controls for Sim Racing, KESindustries.com. Thank you to Mario Bonfante Jr. For all of your support regarding our championships. According to this graphic that I have, Ray Kingsbury has 93 points ahead of, it looks like, Daniel McDonald, who has 39. So the championship, if Robichaux is supposed to be scored, and once again, we'll figure that out next week, and I apologize there, but otherwise, Ray's got this locked up. Hello, Cody Erdmann. Welcome to your home state. How are you, and are you excited for this race?
Hi, yeah. Glad to be here. Our lovely Wisconsin here. About 4 hours north in the middle of the woods. So, lovely area we have, and this track is going to be really entertaining. We had a bunch of, it's mainly a bunch of left-handed corners with a right-handed hairpin coming to the start-finish line. So, and if anything proves last week what we have on these off-road truck tracks, that last week proved to be a show, so hopefully we'll have a really good one here in Crandon.
As we get ready for 23 cars to take part in today's race. Our format, we do actually have that graphic at least. The lap counts, I believe, are back to normal, so we'll be able to go through that in just a couple moments. So 23 cars, so that's going to leave us with 3 heat races, up to 11 cars in each, 6 laps. Of course, no joker here, as it is an endurance race. The top 2 will transfer. The semifinal is 2 races, up to 13 cars in each, 8 laps, and the top 3 will transfer. Then the final is 10 laps around this tricky track, and while it is only 0.76 miles long, it is a bull ring, and we have certainly seen some crazy stuff happen. John Dipple came out on top in the first round that we raced here. I believe that was the finale. In Sindre Silva's first championship season, it was 2020B, I believe. So what a race we had what a race we had last season. And Charlie Daniels, how are you, and how is Twitchland?
Thanks, Josh. I'm doing awesome. Trevor Teal got us started with 2 gifted subs, which brings his sub gifting total to, I believe it's 147 gifted subs lifetime. That's wild. Thank you so much, Trevor Teal. Good luck tonight, my friend. And then, of course, the Prime sub from High Voltage Media Pro, the special guest you started to mention earlier. I won't give away who it is till you bring him in, but thank you for that Prime sub. I think he's also going to talk about how easy it was to subscribe to the channel with Prime. So we're off to a good start today.
As our special guest is 4-time champion and 13-time race winner Dylan Livengood, competitor of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, who dominated the early years of the sport with myself and Cody Erdmann. So, hello, Mr. Livengood. Aside from you joining the session as a driver, I have to roast you on air for that. But how are you? How easy is it for someone to subscribe via their Amazon account? And what is your thought about today's race?
Hey, I'm doing great, Josh. You know, it wouldn't be the first time that I've made that mistake. Cough, cough. But no, it's super easy to give it a sub. Just a couple of clicks, and just hit link with your Twitch account. I was actually surprised at how easy it was, and you don't even have to leave either page or anything like that. So, super cool way that they have it set up. And yeah, Josh, it's good to be back. I was here for a little bit a couple of weeks ago, just checking things out, and loving what I see tonight. As these drivers tackle this kind of, I called it an unfolded paperclip, it seems like. Lots of opportunities to maybe see some dive bomb in action here and seeing who can make it past. A lot of tight hairpin corners and big jumps to be able to just go ahead and sail it over, which is super cool. Super fun track. Glad to be here.
As, of course, with the Nitro Circus partnership with North American Simulated Auto Racing, certainly this track and last week in Bark River, 2 of the, I would say, most aligning tracks to Nitro Circus platform there. I wanted to mention before I went through all of those sponsor plugs, I did not mention for Simracer Coin. You can check out their platform, mission, and vision at simracercoin.org, and I want to give a shout out to Miguel Gomez. He was our first entitlement sponsor of the NASA Rallycross Challenge and first real sponsor ever. and I do appreciate your continued support, my friend, and hopefully your team has benefited from it as well. As we are running and finishing through practice, that intro line, gentlemen, that I mentioned, Bodie Cryer, 0.128 ahead of Robbie Larill, who practiced at 2 in the morning and thought he was racing at Park River. Luke Kraus, a 10th and a half back. Matt Hartley, the champion of 2020A, sits in 4th, and Jason Hook, who finished on the podium here. Cody, what are your thoughts about Bodie Cryer? I mean, granted, he has his experience in the trucks here. Do you think that anyone is going to fight him for this win and the Endurance Cup?
Possibly, because last week we noticed it was Bodie and Luke, if I remember correctly, that were like way out ahead on like lap times. They were only like almost a second ahead of like the whole field. And this week we have a second gets you from first to like 14th, 15th, if I just kind of do a quick calculation. Like, it's a lot of cars are, and even though yes it is a smaller track, I've noticed a lot more people have put in practice for this round, it seemed like, than Park River. I think they saw that they have a possibility of getting in the final and having a chance of getting on the podium or possibly winning this if the cards fall properly. So I could see a surprise here, especially with last week. Yeah, we had the rolling start, and this week we have more of a traditional standing start like how we used to back in the day. So with that land rush start, anything can happen.
I think you read my mind. I was about to ask Victor Vallee, show me that land rush. And Dylan, I'm going to bring you in, and I don't expect you to know this because I did not brief you on this, but I want to ask you, what does this start remind you of? What track that we have run? And it's okay if you have no idea.
Oh man, you're gonna have to quiz me on something. No, you didn't. This reminds me. Oh yeah, Negus.
I would say
track.
Think about Proving Ground South, though, how long that run was, and we had to take that corner.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a mixture of the two, gents, because you have jumps in the middle of this, and I joked with Charley before everyone showed up, because Victor's not feeling well. He showed up 10 minutes ago. I was here the earliest for once in my life, and I had to call everyone on here. And Charley says, in true Nitro Circus and NASA fashion, everyone shows up late and there's no prep. But that turn one, well, we call it turn one, but the land rush, we saw Cindray Silva last season, or the first season we ran here, get involved in an accident on the first corner and end up, no, it was the first season, I apologize. He crashed and did not make the podium. So your race can be over and done and run before you even start the race. So,
yeah, Josh, this does remind me of kind of just old school NASA racing. That's why I'm really excited for this race. Going back to our roots a little bit.
As there's so many people that ask me, and I've mentioned this before, why do you run these rally cars on the truck tracks? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have the co-founder back in 2012 tell you this is exactly why we still run. Cody, I believe I cut you off. Did you have a thought?
I was just thinking too. So like on the land rush start, the first corner is a right-hand corner. Then you also make a couple more jumps, and then you have to make a left-handed corner. So you could be in the prime position on the first corner and then be stuck on the outside going on to the second corner. So, you better get your start down perfect.
And we're going to take a look at qualifying. Our drivers have 5 minutes to set 3 laps to seed for our heat races here in Wisconsin. So I hate to burst the championship bubble before we even begin, and I really didn't want to mention this, but I don't think Philip Kraus is going to be here next week. So dare I say it, I mean, we're just going to have fun with the racing, and if a championship battle happens, it happens, boys. I mean, Philip Kraus, who I thought was washed up and has been, and I've said that for the past 9 weeks or 8 weeks or however long that he was in the car. He certainly still has it, but prior commitments will prevent him from running the full season.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks for us because at first we thought we were going to have Cindray and Connor be our main championship rivals, with possibly Phil or Luke kind of being the dark horse on that, knowing how Connor and Cindray both were. But since they're both out of the series, we're looking forward to having the Krauses and having them battle for it. And unfortunately, with Phil having prior obligations, that's unfortunately not going to happen for us, it looks like.
As we're taking a look, at least I'm taking a look at Kieran Forrest in the sequential Sim Sport Ford. Great result for him last week after if I recall correctly, he rolled it in the feature race and in the semifinal and still transferred. So his lap time, 15th, 46.180. We got some lap times rolling in. Robbie Larill, 45.005. Luke Kraus, 44.714. So the championship leader holding the red plate in the 134, 3/10 up on Larill. And Bodie Cryer, 45.034. Him and Larill equal on lap time. It looks like everyone, for the most part, is finishing their runs. The one car that is not is Trevor Teal. As I flick through the field, Teal is about to start his run. Thomas is about to start his second lap. Fleming's about to start his third lap. So we'll look here through the running order. Philip Kraus down on pace. 45.369 for the man from Wisconsin who represents the nation of Canada. So former four-time champion as well of the series down in the field. Luke Kraus runs. Oh, that lap was invalidated. He hit the wall. So I don't know if there's going to be any movement here, boys.
As I was kind of just looking, I didn't even realize he was here until I saw him pop up the P4 on the board of Magnus is back. So it's going to, our former, don't hate me for asking this. Did he win a title or was he like a runner-up? I feel like he's really close.
He battled Hartley in 2020. Yes. Came up very short.
I remember he was in contention for one at least. So yeah, with him being here, as he shows he's P4 at the moment, right behind Bodie.
But look at the timing pylon on the left-hand side of the screen, the only Ford in the top 10. And we've mentioned this time and time again. The Fords grip up and do well on a worn track. But it's interesting, he's the only one in the top 10.
Yeah, he's probably got that the right feel for the fresh track on with the Ford, because yeah, even the Volkswagen as we're showing, I believe that's Matt here, or Adam Thomas. Sorry, having a hard time seeing the number board there. Both those cars with the short wheelbase they don't get the good run off the corners and the good traction on these fresh tracks. Once they get that little bit of rubber down and able to bite onto that, they really get a good run. But just the Subaru has a little bit of an advantage with that longer wheelbase.
So Adam Thomas sits 10th in the seating order, 8/10 down on Luke Kraus. So we've got 8 Subarus, a Volkswagen, and a Ford. But I mentioned this in 2019 on one of the older shows on ASN On Demand that it doesn't matter if you've got all Subarus in this series. I love every minute. So if you're relatively new to Nitro Circus and NASA Rallycross, welcome. There's a couple ways you can join our conversation here on Nitro Circus Twitch and on the Automotive Sports Network On Demand. You can do hashtag NASA on Nitro or hashtag ASN TV USA and follow NASA at NASA on iRacing. So we have our partners here at Nitro Circus Twitch, and we have the Automotive Sports Network On Demand. Gentlemen, we are getting ready for the first land rush. And let's look at our grid. Luke Kraus, Magnus Okenhaug, Philip Kraus, Adam Thomas, Justin Robichaux, Marwan Moftah, Parker Fleming, and Seth Rawls. So 2 Fords, a Volkswagen, and 5 Subarus are going to barrel down into this first corner. And it's going to be very difficult to predict who will get this line right or who has the right line.
Yeah, as it's with having kind of a switchback going right to left, it's going to be, we're going to see one experience of who's as a race before and who hasn't. So let's see if the experience pays off.
Oh, I have to just publicly say right now, this camera angle reminds me of the Supercross start, and I think that's exactly why Victor Vallee's doing this.
Yes,
we're gonna have an 8-wide start, getting ready for Heat 1 here in Wisconsin. We look at our pole sitter and points leader Luke Kraus, but he gets a bad jump compared to Magnus over the jumps. As we talked about in the pre-show, Adam Thomas looks like he gets a good run. As we enter turn 1, Magnus Okenhaug ahead of Luke Kraus. Then we have Philip Kraus, Adam Thomas, Parker Fleming, Justin Robichaux, Marwan Moftah, Seth Rawls as our running order. Into turn 1, Kraus gets turned. Magnus is on the berm. And we've already got some chaotic racing, and Adam Thomas goes to the lead ahead of Magnus Okenhaug. Luke Kraus sits in third. Parker Fleming and Robichaux in the middle of the pack. In turn number 3, we have the Volkswagen of Thomas leading, but we look at Parker Fleming, who sits in the 4th spot. so it's okay to be biased for just a moment. But Magnus goes to the inside. Kraus tries to take the fight, and Thomas leads at the end of the first lap.
As you're making a comparison to that camera angle start, I think Parker he felt at home there with that Supercross style start, being a former SX East rider. He's sitting P4. As we got Luke Kraus, Magnus battling, looking on the inside of Adam here, still not able to get the run. See if he's able to hold off Luke Kraus
for the dive bomb for Magnus. Can't make it stick though. Side-by-side contact between the 134 and the 26. We know the top two are the only ones to transfer. And Luke doesn't want to be stuck in the semifinal as the points leader. He gets nudges himself into Magnus, and he sits in third as we end the first lap of the race.
As everyone's trying to run real nice and tidy with this fresh track at the moment on the inside of these corners, trying to keep it as low as possible.
And Thomas pulling away in the Volkswagen, and the Ford of Okenhaug, who ended up on the berm on the right-hand side, saved it as Kraus was sideways off the start. Philip Kraus, Parker Fleming, Justin Robichaux, Marwan Moftas, Seth Rawls in the 125. So our sports car driver having some issues in his Subaru, 16 seconds behind the race lead. Over the Polaris Razor jump into the final corner. And I don't have any words. I was about to say that Thomas is pulling away, and I know I interrupted you, Dylan, so just go ahead.
Yeah, and Josh, I was just going to jump in there and say that was probably one of the wildest starts that I've ever seen. And it seems like if your last name's Kraus, then you just kind of have a magnet on your back bumper. And every race that I seem to sit in here now, it seems to be we got a Kraus sideways, but that's got to be save of the year. Just what an amazing start.
As certainly trying to become the third driver to represent the nation of Canada to win a championship in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. He swoops to the inside and takes the transfer spot on Magnus, but we know how aggressive the Norwegian is. He's going to have half of this race left to go. On board Luke Kraus in the 134. We look at Magnus trying to take the fight. Kraus hits the wall. To the inside goes Magnus. He hits the wall, and no positions have changed.
Philip Kraus is trying to look to capitalize on that mistake as he's looking up on the inside. Let's see if we have a little contact here.
Oh, beautiful argy-bargy racing here in the NASA Rallycross Challenge between Philip Kraus and Magnus Okenhaug. Subaru versus Ford. Philip Kraus, like I said, there's two drivers that represent the nation of Canada that have won a championship. One is sitting next to us and one is on the track. Speaking of on the track, he's off the track. Philip Kraus off the road in car number 19.
Beautiful crossover. Because now let's see if he can go set his sights on his championship rival for at least this week. And
I will publicly say you can join in whenever you want, Mr. Dylan Livengood, because it is very good to have you back on one of these calls.
Yeah, it's exciting to have a race here. It's definitely elbows up, beating and banging. Just a race like this always gets me going.
As we begin the penultimate lap here in Crandon. So Adam Thomas has held the lead from turn one. Luke Kraus sits in second. Magnus is in third. He gets by Philip Kraus, who is now in fourth. Fifth is Fleming. Sixth is Robichaux. Seventh, Moftat. Eighth is Seth Rawls. I am extremely impressed with Adam Thomas, but if I recall correctly, I think he finished on the podium here last season, if not the season before.
Yeah, when me, Matt Kingsbury, and Adam, we were all teammates, I was really impressed with him because he was a rookie last season. And he showed a ton of pace right off the bat, so this is really kind of showing his true potential.
As Philip Kraus on the rear wing of that Ford. Perfectly honest, I wish there were more Fords in the championship, and this is from someone who personally hates Fords, but just the rally car. He nudges Kraus out of the way. Hello, Philip Kraus. Get out of my way. I love the look of that Ford Fiesta, and I wish there were more cars, but I know how dominant the Subaru program is historically in NASA Rallycross. Of course, it has been, but proving that Volkswagen still has it, Adam Thomas looks as though he's going to seal up heat number one and take pole position here in Crandon ahead of our points leader, Luke Kraus. As Philip Kraus comes home in third, Magnus fourth, fifth Parker Fleming, sixth Robichaux, seventh Moftat, and eighth is Seth Rawls.
Yeah, and it looks like that little tiny Volkswagen just had a little bit more maneuverability.
Has 8 championships represented for the nation of Canada. They're certainly trying to get their 9th with Kraus this season. As mentioned previously, we did have Connor Parisi and Sindre Silva. Parisi withdrew from the series with Jim Beaver Esports due to the controversy in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. And the week after, Sindre Silva was disqualified from the championship. There was a very big argument with race control. So the 2 world championship drivers effectively out of the championship. And now we have what people would say is a subdued championship battle. I'm going to assume some people are going to say it's not a deserving championship battle, but certainly it's a championship nonetheless. 8 cars, Heat 2, green flag, land rush time once again. Off the line, it looks like Kingsbury there in the 25 gets a great run, but here's Lambert in the 46, the inaugural champion. He is going to sneak to the inside of, it looks like that's Hook and Larill, but he can't take the fight. Over the jump to begin the start lap, as this is not lap number 1, remember. Larill, Hook, Lambert, Howell, Kingsbury, Teal, Schofield, and Ramsey. Much cleaner through turn 1 this time, into turn number 2. Such an easy corner to dive bomb, such an easy corner to get wrong, just like that. Teal's gonna straighten Kingsbury out and sacrifice his own race for the Connecticut native into the final corner, and Larill holds the lead ahead of Hook and Howell. As we begin the first lap, we know that Robbie Larill does a lot of practice.
Yeah, I just watched Andrew Howell pull a slide job on Lambert. Now
Lambert forces his way through.
Yeah, they're pulling slide jobs on each other and trying to fight for each other, but that's letting the front 2 guys just run away as Kingsbury gets around, looking to get around Lambert here.
Oh, what a defensive move on the outside from Lambert. The inaugural champion of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge back in 2012A. Dylan, you can talk about that season a lot, how competitive that was as Lambert came out on top that season.
Yeah, definitely a bunch of drivers under a tablecloth. And speaking of being under a tablecloth, these guys are having to get really close to each other and pull those slide jobs. I mean, there's no joker here, so it's the only way you're going to be able to get done.
Brilliant move on Lambert. Checks him in the final section of the corner on the exit and takes the spot. So we know Schofield, and I will mention this forever, how he got robbed in Norway with that transfer spot. He sits and fits. There's a long way left to go, but Larill and Hook, both good at these tracks. And we know that DGRX finally got their first win. Granted, it was the iDrive Sim Training sub-team, but they got their first win last week in Bark River. Way out wide is Howell in the 666. Running order has not changed from the top 2, but Lambert sneaking to the inside of Schofield here as we ride on board the 27.
Yeah, this is definitely battle of the race right here. These guys can't seem to get unstuck.
Yeah, I was just about to say that these 2 are kind of fighting with each other and letting the cars in front of them go. Ray's looking to put a little bit of pressure on Howell at the moment, seeing if he can just kind of fill up his mirror, and hopefully Howell makes a mistake so he can get around him.
If we're looking out front, we're not missing anything. It's 3.7 seconds from Larill to Howell. It's 2.4 from Hook to Howell. So Howell losing time, battling with Kingsbury here in the 25. As we ride on board, I believe we're riding on board with, was Lambert? No, it was Schofield in the 27. So apologies there, I didn't recognize the driver's suit, but I drove a couple laps at this track. Howell gets nudged by Kingsbury here. I drove a couple laps at this track, and it is one of my favorites. So unrelenting, even with a simple format or layout like this.
Yeah, it's especially with the jumps and the kind of the flat landings. These cars aren't really made for flat landings here on iRacing. So when they land, they kind of bounce and do some crazy things, and that you're not ready for, as we noticed last week with a couple of the mistakes happening.
Just to give you a quick lap time update. Howell off the road in the 666. I tried to give you a lap time update, but he decided to go further off-roading and mow the lawn. Unintentional slide job there on the 25.
Yeah, I think Howell was just kind of on borrowed time, but he's not going to let him have it easy.
Oh, he nudges Kingsbury. Lambert sneaks into the picture as well. This is for third, boys. They have 2 laps to go. Lambert on the outside of the 666 of Howell. We know the 666 has knowledge, experience, that number at least, at driving and defending very well with Elliot Porterfield, and Howell is no slouch as well. I was going to mention, I even forgot what I was going to mention. I said this track very simple, but very difficult to get right. On board Lambert now.
As one thing I've noticed at the Fastway is when we're coming up into this corner, if you can put your left side tires like almost in the grass here, these guys are getting like creating really good lap times. As you got Lambert here, he's cutting underneath, but now he's gonna be on the outside of
over the jump, and Lambert spits it into the wall, into Schofield. And both of them involved. Kingsbury comes up to the scene of the accident. While this is not for a transfer, that was for a seating position in the semifinal, so that could be crucial, either to win or lose you a transfer spot. And that was classic NASA, unfortunately, crashing over the jump, Dylan.
Yeah, and I'll bet you Lambert's going to be fuming inside of that race car. I mean, he was doing everything that he could to get around him. He was just... I had a brain fart there. Go ahead. Take it away.
Words are hard. It's okay, but I'm pretty sure people can understand what you were trying to mention. Robbie Larill will win heat number 2 here in Crandon, and Jason Hook will come home in second, transferring in the 137. As Andrew Howell, David Schofield, Ray Kingsbury, Trevor Teal, Lambert, and Nathan Ramsey.
Yeah, and Josh, what I was trying to say is Howell was trying to make his bumper as wide as he could, and it just forced that contact there.
As Charlie Daniels, we got a little bit of a moment for Twitchland. Give us an update if you can.
Hey guys, the big news is it is Howell's birthday today, so happy birthday!
I'm not
to him.
singing. I'm not singing, but happy
no singing.
birthday.
Yeah, no singing. That's I mean, I guess that's fair use now. But yeah, no singing. None of us are singing. Don't worry, chat. And then the other thing I wanted to say is just, with the championship looking, maybe decided, hopefully we'll have a contender. But I love to see some of these folks who've almost made a feature get in this week. Looking at, your Trevor Teals, your Diane Feldmans, people who have almost made it in the past, hoping today is their day.
So ignore that the 51's on the ticker because he doesn't know what he's doing. So we have 7 cars in this heat race, and I'm gonna roast you to the end of time. Okay. So we get ready. Bodie Cryer, Matt Hartley, Josh Clogg, Daniel Aish, Matt Kingsbury, Kieran Forrest, Diane Feldman.
Yeah, you're gonna roast me for like another 4 years now.
Yeah, it was 2013. The Neo Endurance race at Spa. He joined. And as a driver, it broke the whole server. So that was a big meme. As we get ready,
broken today.
We get ready and we go green in heat 3. And off the line, Cryer, I look at him. He's got a great start. That was Hartley that ended up on his front wheels, essentially. 3 cars under a blanket. Hartley, Forrest. Hartley gets turned along with Forrest. And then it's Aish. So the former teammates come together. And the old man off the track. Bodie Cryer holds the lead. Josh Clogg in the 199. Matt Kingsbury, Daniel Aish. Feldman's over in the 84. So our lone female competitor from Australia struggling for iDrive sim training, but her teammate Cryer picking up right where he left off at the end of last week. And Josh Clogg has a Volkswagen Beetle of Matt Kingsbury all over that rear wing. That Cryer loves this though. These guys battle for that transfer.
Yeah, it lets him just kind of check out and not have to worry about it and just use this almost as a practice session with how the track state it is at the moment.
And as we look through the running order, like we mentioned, 7 cars. And I really, that was the messiest that we've seen. And I don't really know. I mean, I'm going to take a look off monitor so you guys pay attention to this, but I'm going to try and figure out what exactly happened on that start. But honestly, I think just everyone came together. Hartley was sideways, and Aish just drove into them. So I don't know what exactly happened there.
Yeah, Josh, with a start like this, I think it was just kind of bound to happen.
As Cryer still leads at the end of the first official lap. Here in Crandon, ahead of Josh Clogg, Matt Kingsbury there, right on the rear wing of that Subaru. Remember, Matt Kingsbury has experience at winning at an endurance track. He won in 2020A at Wild West. That is the only race that the man from Connecticut has won. And interestingly, his brother Ray has yet to win a race in the championship. Cryer pulling away, though, gentlemen. 2 seconds faster than Clog on that first initial lap.
Yeah, he had an amazing start, but now that Clog and Matt are battling, we're gonna see who can come out on top with the. See if the track stays better for the Volkswagen now, or is this still advantage for the Super?
Oh, Clog ran it wide. Kingsbury tried to bite on the inside, couldn't make it happen. Lap times officially 45.622 for Cryer, 45.9s for Clog and Kingsbury. And it was a 46.2 for Daniel Aish, as everybody else in the 46-second bracket. So this is Cryer's bread and butter. And he is down on points considerably, I believe, in the Drivers' Championship. No, he's fifth. Ignore every word that just came out of my mouth there. But because of that win last week, as I'm just getting reminded, he jumped from 10th to 5th. So a huge point swing for Cryer.
Yeah, when the points are that tight and you have a really good night, you can jump up really far. As a kind of self-promotion here a tiny bit. On Monday in my UERA Stock Car Series, I went from like 9th to 4th. Yeah, it was like 9th to 4th in points for finishing 8th at Talladega. So it's when the points are really tight in the mid-pack, you can make a big jump with a good run.
And Cody, that brings up a good point, because every single race is important when it comes to putting together a championship. That's why when I was running for championships, I made sure I never quit. I made sure that, I got every position that I could, even if it was way in the back.
As I had in 2017 C, there was a season we ran at Irwindale. I blew 3rd and 4th gear. I only had 2 gears, and I almost parked the car. I ended up finishing 3rd, and I'd like to think that won me the championship. But enough nostalgia trip, gentlemen. We'll have to be put in the retirement home. 2 laps to go for Clog and Kingsbury. And yes, Victor Vallee, everyone was blowing gears. Everyone was very angry. That was a very bad night. Cryer, 45.5. He's 7/10 up on Clog. Kingsbury was half a second down on Cryer. I'm expecting Matt to send it in this final lap or so. He wants to make a feature. He has the pace to do so. There's the send, but it might be too early.
Yeah, Matt, he can be a bit aggressive, especially once he gets in a battle here. See if he does anything with it, or if he just kind of isn't able to mount up anything. This Clog, we know he's really good, especially on the sports car side of things. So see if he uses his sports car knowledge on this crazy dirt track we got.
As 45.626 for Cryer, 45.9 for Clog, 46.4 for Matt. He might have used all his chips in that one corner. He still has the semifinals left to go, but it's going to be every single car that has not transferred split into 2 races. So we've got 2 corners left. Bodie Cryer is going to looks as though he's going to win heat number 3 here in Crandon and take a stranglehold of the Endurance Cup here in 2021B. And Clog will transfer out of heat 3. Kingsbury is best of the rest ahead of Aish, Hartley, Forrest, and Feldman.
Hey Josh, want to hear a crazy stat I just looked at?
What is the stat?
Besides lap 1, Cryer varied about 3/10 that entire on his lap times.
That is a delicious stat. Charlie Daniels, Twitchland before the semifinals.
We got some intel that Trevor Teal had a cat run between his feet during his heat, and that is partially responsible for him casing it on that jump. Hey, in sim racing, anything can happen.
You don't understand. In NASA, anything can happen, and it usually does. As we get ready for semifinal A here in Crandon, 9 cars for 3 spots. Philip Kraus, Matt Kingsbury, David Schofield, Parker Fleming, Matt Hartley, Trevor Teal, Marwan Moftah, Diane Feldman, and Nathan Ramsey. We hold our breath as we get ready for 9 cars to barrel over these whoops and down into the first right-hand corner. Almost makes me glad that there's whoops to break this up, because if there wasn't, can you imagine 9 wide into the first corner?
Yeah, that would be mass chaos here as we're about to let him go.
As we get ready for the invisible gate drop here for semifinal A, green flag. Off the line, Kraus on the inside. We got 1 car on the outside. I think it's Ramsey in the 29. Moftah hits the whoops the worst as we go through this first corner. Kingsbury in the inside, Schofield in the middle. Hartley gets turned nearly again, but he saves it. Fleming behind them. Moftoff, Feldman, Ramsey had an issue entering turn, well, number -1. Matt Kingsbury to the inside of Matt Hartley, trying to get the transfer. Contact between them exiting the corner. Philip Kraus had an issue as well. No, he didn't. I'm blind. Did he?
Oh, it's Matt
Big
Hartley.
issue in turn 3. Hartley gets turned from the front bumper of Kingsbury. I'm blind. Just ignore every word I'm saying. Over the jump. Schofield with Kingsbury battling for second spot. And here comes Mofta, the Egyptian, the former race winner, sneaking into the picture. Philip Kraus loves this, boys, as they're battling here for the second and third places.
As Philip Kraus got the most beautiful hole shot we've seen all night. Just ran away. He probably had about 5-6 car lengths in the next car behind him going into that right-hander. Because, yeah, we have a three-way battle for... Got 3 cars for 2 spots here to make it into the final. Actually, I lied as I didn't realize Hartley was right on the back bumper of Marwan.
As it was Trevor Teal that had an issue. He missed he came together with Hartley and ended up off the track. Contact between Hartley and Mofta. So Trevor Teal out of the semifinal, put him back to 9th place. They are still battling for second spot here, but this battle for third is the most important between Hartley, Schofield, and Mofta, Dylan.
Yeah, and I mean, man, I really don't know what to say to these guys. It seems like Philip Kraus either has a black cloud over his head or he's got a horseshoe up his you-know-what, as these other drivers are just scrambling trying to see where that pace is.
137.302 for that first lap time. I think what it does is it counts the start, it counts the first half of that lap, and then the full first lap. So that's why it is such a disparity in the lap times. For example, Hartley ran a 1:40.695, but that's because he was involved in that accident. So Trevor Teal jumped like it was a Nitro Circus show. To the inside of Schofield goes Hartley in the 48, and the former champion on the outside looking in of a transfer spot here. Remember, boys, these races, these semifinals are 8 laps. So you got a little bit more time. He nudges Schofield out of the way and trying to take the third spot.
As he was 0.3 faster than anyone else on the track, or at least in the top 5 here. So he's got a ton of pace. Let's see if he can do something with it.
Yeah, and Josh, to your point, with these races getting longer, at least I'm used to them getting shorter every little bit. So it kind of allows these guys to make some time and pick off these drivers.
Hartley takes the spot, but the crossover goes to Schofield, and we used to run shorter races because if you didn't advance, you had less time to transfer. That philosophy's been reversed as Hartley checks the 27 and holds the spot, but Schofield's gonna have his nose on Hartley into turn 1. He could not get through the whoops well enough there, and Hartley holds the spot. But the races have been lengthened, so it gives you more time to calm down, to realize your situation, and create another game plan.
As I'm watching this battle between Hartley and Schofield, reminded me of watching Supercross, just like how we have the start too, where when you get in the LCQ, the guys are trying to battle for that last transfer spot, or pulling everything they have in their book to try to get into the final.
As if you're just joining our coverage here on Nitro Circus Twitch, thank you all for joining us. Josh Mertz, Cody Erdmann, Dylan Livengood, Charlie Daniels, and Victor Vallee for Nitro Circus Twitch, powered by the Automotive Sports Network. Hashtag NASA on Nitro, hashtag ASNTVUSA. We are in semifinal A, crossed flags halfway through, and Philip Kraus, the former champion of the series, leads the field ahead of Matt Kingsbury, Matt Hartley, David Schofield rounding out halfway. Discord links from Nitro Circus and NASA posted in chat, and be sure, like I said, join that conversation. You might get shout out by our Twitch guy, Charlie Daniels, at some point during the show. Even on lap time here, boys, Matt Kingsbury 45.943, 45.962 for the top 2, 8.94 for Hartley, faster by half a second over Schofield, so top 3 pulling away.
Yeah, the top 3 were within a tenth of each other. Let's see this time. Also, I noticed that Marwan was faster than Schofield, so Marwan's starting to catch up on Schofield. As we have Hartley here, you're in a 45.6 to a 46 flat from Matt, and a 46.4 from Phil, so the top 3 are all kind of according, getting closer and closer to each other, so we may have a battle here coming to the last couple laps.
We're going to come to 2 laps to go, And yes, Trevor Teal would much rather make a feature than act like Nitro Circus stunts, but unfortunately, you have those dark times sometimes. Just ask me, Cody, or Dylan. We've had those times as well. We get ready for 2 laps to go. Phil ran it wide in turn 3. Matt got close. Hartley's getting closer to Kingsbury.
And could he be stacking these guys up behind him? That's something maybe that he's trying to do as a strategy.
As Hartley, the former champion in 2020A, I joke about him being washed up, has been old man, but he's certainly not at this juncture. Certainly showing the pace, 45.4. He was faster by half a second over Kingsbury and a full second over Kraus. This is getting spicy for the transfer spots. Granted, they're all here. Hartley sends it into turn 3.
As one thing I've noticed, this is kind of coming into a little bit of a dirt background is with like the sprint car guys. They don't know what's going on behind them. As Phil doesn't know what good line to run. As Hartley goes a slide job on the other Matt from Kingsbury. Now he's got his set sight on Phil here as we got the white flag.
As something really quick to note, the Subarus do not have interior mirrors. They only have the wing mirrors on the side of the car. The Volkswagen and the Ford have those interior mirrors. So honestly, that's a lot like how you drove, Dylan Livengood. You don't pay attention to the mirror. You watch out the windshield.
Oh yeah, it bugs the heck out of me. I don't need to know who's behind me. I can hear where the engine is from the other race cars, and that's the way that I drive. There's no reason to look back.
As Kraus holds it through turn 3, Hartley's trying so hard to get this win. Not that it really matters aside from seeding. Final corner, Philip Kraus will win semifinal A in front of former champion Hartley, and Matt Kingsbury transfers as 13th is Schofield. 15th will be... No, Marwan didn't finish. Marwan doesn't finish, and he gives up his points as Feldman comes home in 15th. 17th is Fleming. 19th is Ramsey. 21st, it looks like, is Trevor Teal. No, 21st would be Marwan, and then 23rd, if I've got it correct, would be Trevor Teal. As Marwan just parked it in the final corner here, gents.
Yeah, and that kind of goes against what we were talking about by staying out there and getting every point possible. So interesting development there.
As correct, I correct myself. I'm so used to having only 16 cars score points. I should know the point system off the top of my head, but I don't. So we'll see semifinal B here in just a moment. 8 cars. Once again, Dylan Livengood doesn't know what he's doing as he joined the session. So Andrew Howell, Magnus Okenhaug, Daniel Aish, Ray Kingsbury, Justin Robichaux, Kieran Forrest, Brandon Lambert, and Seth Rawls. 8 more cars, 1 more land rush to set the feature grid here in Crandon. The Revs build. We get ready to go green for another 8-lap race here in Wisconsin. And it's so hard to predict who will get this lead going into turn number 1. As we get ready, green flag in Crandon. 1 car missed the start. I think it was Robichaux as we lead down the land rush. Perfect camera work. Magnus Okenhaug leads. Lambert turned by Rawls. Nearly Lambert gets turned with Kieran Forrest. And I think that's Daniel Aish. As we begin the race, Magnus ahead of Howell. Rawls sits in a transfer spot. Kingsbury the inside. Kingsbury gets turned by Aish. Kingsbury saves it. Turn 1. Aish barges his way through, and he takes the spot on Kingsbury in the 25. Into turn 3, Magnus ahead of Howell still. Rawls sits in the transfer spot. Aish pushes himself through. Kingsbury gets a little dirty there. That's a really anti of what he normally does. Very clean from Kingsbury usually, but he's given the bumper to Aish in the 33. Aish to the inside of Rawls in the 125. As we begin the race proper, Magnus leads Howell. Aish 3 wide with Rawls there, and Kingsbury as Lambert and Robichaux. Forrest in the back of the field. I'll try and recap there once this calms down. Kingsbury gets hit by Rawls. Kingsbury to the inside of Aish here. Into turn 1, and Kingsbury goes back to the transfer spot, but it's not over yet, boys.
Because, yeah, it seems like Aish is like, he knows that like this is his last chance to get in the final, so he's doing everything as possible. Elbows out, trying to push anyone out of the way that he can get around.
as he took the land rush, came off the jump, and smashed into Forrest and Lambert, hit the wall, ping-ponged off of both walls. So, of course, I don't call wrecks as I see them like I'm a part of the review panel on a live show, but I believe that that's going to be under review, of course. So, at the end of lap 2, let's get a running order update. Magnus Okenhaug, Andrew Howell, Ray Kingsbury, Daniel Aish, Seth Rawls, Robichaux, Kieran Forrest, and Brandon Lambert.
Yeah, unfortunately with Lambert, it looks like he fared pretty good after that first lap contact, but he just tried sending it in and being a little bit too aggressive and ended up hitting the tires, and that kind of sealed his fate.
As Howell getting close to Okenhaug, this is for the race lead. Okenhaug leads in the Ford ahead of 2 Subarus, as Subarus run 2nd through 6th, and then the 2 other Fords 7th and 8th. Let's look at the proper lap times now. 46.1, 46.2, 45.8 for Ray, 46 flat for Aish. So Kingsbury, by 2/10, is the fastest car on the track. Brandon Lambert has parked it in the 46. He will come home in the 8th spot in this semifinal.
As this field's kind of starting to calm down a tiny bit, we got, the top 4 have checked out a little bit, and they're kind of all separated in good equal distances. Aish dive bombs into the hairpin there as Kingsbury looks to try to get underneath Howell. So these two battling within transfer spots. So with Ray being a knowledgeable racer as he is, he knows not to put himself in a bad situation where they both won't transfer.
Aish is pushing so hard to make this feature in that Nitro Circus DGR car, pushing in every corner that's possible. And if I was Ray Kingsbury, I'd try and get past the 666 of Howell, because you don't know what's going to happen with the 33. If you're Magnus Okenhaug, you love this, as I believe he was super fast in that first season that we ran here, but he came together with another driver and lost his opportunity to potentially win. Aish is gassing up, entering the corner to try and get that car to slide. It's a very valid strategy. I recall using that before. Contact between Kingsbury and Howell.
Let's see if Aish is able to capitalize on that mistake here.
As the birthday boy, Andrew Howell, trying to maintain a transfer spot and make the feature here in Crandon. And this is one of my favorite things about the endurance tracks. Contact between them. Kingsbury's going to straighten him out. He pushes him wide. So no birthday gifts from Ray Kingsbury to Andrew Howell.
As Aish, like I said, was able to capitalize there, so now he is in the transfer spot.
Howell's not done. Howell is not done. He straight line turn 1 to get a better run off the corner, and I suspect there's going to be some fireworks into turn number 3. Aish pushes it wide. Howell to the inside. Teammates technically are going to battle for this transfer spot.
As Howell was able to get around him cleanly, now here comes
contact over the jump. Oh gosh,
that could have been a lot worse. I think Aish was able to check up in time. As another contact.
I'm gonna have to check my blood pressure after this.
I was waiting while you haven't said anything. I was wondering if you'd passed out from the excitement.
I might as well have been. I mean, just seeing all these aggressive moves here, it seems like this LCQ is a lot more aggressive than the last LCQ is.
As Howell hits the berm there in turn 2, but it doesn't hurt him. It helps him through the corner. Magnus loves this. 46.562 is his last lap. He's pulling away despite Ray being half a second faster than him. These two battling. Aish tries to run the inside, but you maintain that momentum on the outside. I'm going to use the oval term, Dylan Livengood. There's almost a little bit of banking here, so you run that outside, hold the cushion, and it pushes you off the corner.
Yeah, if you can get that momentum going here, it's definitely a momentum track.
As Aish lands on the wall, I'll let you finish here in a second. He lands on the wall, pushes out wide, so now he's battling with Robichaux. That should alleviate the pressure for Howell. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I like how you can make it or break it in one corner, or you can set it up for multiples of corners to get that pass made. It's great for strategy.
As Robichaux battling with Aish. Aish is all over the track in the 33. Literally perpendicular to the corner, and he makes the corner in the 33 ahead of the 93 of Robichaux.
We have a car upside down. It was Seth Rawls. Looks like he's going to retire.
As turtled in the 125 is Seth Rawls. We take a look. What happened to him? He hit the berm, it looks like. That's exactly what happened. And over goes the Subaru, just like Diane Feldman. So on his side, half-turtled, I guess you could say, is the 125. So 2 retirements from this semifinal. Unfortunately, that does not help, of course, any of them to make it through to the feature race. But one guy that does like this is Magnus Okenhaug. He led from the start after making it through the calamity on the start. Ray Kingsbury and Andrew Howell on his birthday. Looks like that will be our 3 drivers to make it as we go through the final corner. On the final lap of semifinal B, Magnus transfers, so does Ray and Andrew Howell, the birthday boy. As 14th is Ace, 16th Robichaud, 18th Forrest. As 20th Rawls, 22nd is Lambert. And I will see you guys in a couple of minutes.
As we are going into our lovely warm-up here. Well, since we got some time here, plenty of time, because these land rush starts been shooting off real quick in between each time. Charlie, how's Twitch land? How's it been since with these crazy races we've had?
Everyone's loving it, guys. It's predictably great. We have viewers piling in, watching these races. The last 2 weeks, I mean, basically what it's been is every week these races have gotten more and more intense and exciting. Who cares about a championship battle? The real racing's just making that feature every week, and I think we're seeing that here today. You know, watching these guys fight to get out of the semifinals and heats is arguably more exciting than the feature's been, dare I say it. So it's been great. Everyone in chat is fired up, so it's fun to hang out here. Couple programming notes from me, if you don't mind, Cody.
Go right ahead.
Tomorrow we will have episode 2 of Micah Cran's Plays Games. So it's Micah Plays Games. Don't know what the game is yet. Micah and I have been texting today trying to decide on a game. But we debuted this show last week, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this channel. For those of you who don't know, Micah Crans is the MC of Nitro Circus Live. So if you've ever seen Nitro Circus live and in person in the last probably 4 or 5 years, you would have heard this man's voice calling the action. You would have seen him standing on the lander when Bruce Cook lands his legendary backflip. You'd have seen him getting stoked every time one of our guys lands a world firsts out there. That's Micah Crans. He is the voice of action sports as far as I'm concerned. So you should definitely tune into his Twitch show on our channel because it's a heck of a good time. Last week we played some Wreckfest and then some Rocket League with chat. So if you're into games, there's a good chance we'll be playing a game that you're into sometime in the next few weeks. So yeah, follow us here. Come back at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow for that. And then next week, Monday night, we'll have the Sports Card Challenge back again. Every single week, I forget to look what's happening next week. So
I can help you with that one. We will be going to the lovely Homestead Miami Speedway.
There it is. So that's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on this channel. It's almost as exciting as this. I'm biased toward Rallycross, but the Sports Car Challenge has also been really fun to watch. Some high performance vehicles on some interesting tracks, some awesome drivers in that one, including some who are also driving in this. So I would check that out if you're enjoying this show tonight. Check us out on the Monday night stream, Sports Car Challenge. That's also a NASA league. So I'm going to throw the Discord in chat here. Anyone's available who can hit / Discord in chat. If you can do that for me now, that'd be great. Join both these Discords, and you'll always be up to speed on. Thank you very much there, Dylan. You'll always be up to speed on when we're live, what's coming up, who's involved, all the details. It's a great community growing over there on both those Discords, which will hopefully maybe just merge someday. We'll figure all that out. I don't know how that works. It's got to be a merge button somewhere, right? Liquid Wrench with the 200 bits. Thank you so much, sir. You are ardent supporter of this channel, and we love to have you. So you just took the lead too, #1 on the leaderboard for bits cheering for the month. So nice work there. And then Tuesday next week, Nitro Circus League, which is our open iRacing league. So that's slightly more casual version of what you're seeing here tonight. The tracks change all the time, the cars change all the time, but it's really just a great fun time. Super low key. It's fun to watch. Lots of shenanigans, lots of good banter. So check that out. And then, of course, Wednesday we'll be back here again for the Rallycross Challenge. And I believe next week we're going to, someone said it earlier.
It would be, yeah, it would be Dylan. Yeah, Dylan's home of Phoenix.
Phoenix, there we go.
Hey.
So yeah, check that out for sure. And then obviously we're doing it all again next week. So yeah, that's it. We're streaming 4 days a week on this channel. So if you haven't hit that follow button yet, now's the time. It's free to follow, free to subscribe with your Twitch Prime sub. We appreciate all the viewers, all the support. Just hanging out here is helping the channel. And if you're going above and beyond, like Liquid Wrench did just then with the bits, anyone subscribing or cheering, man, y'all are the best, and we really, really appreciate you. I'm going to throw it over to Dylan to talk about that Rallycross track next week.
We're actually gridding, boys. I have to interrupt you.
Whoa, I'm talking too much. Okay, sorry. Back to
Oh,
you, Josh.
good.
I have to interrupt you. Round number 194, the championship overall. And we enter round number 8 of the 23rd season. And we have 12 cars getting ready for 10 laps. It's Josh Mertz, Cody Erdmann, Dylan Livengood in the commentary cube, Charlie Daniels in Twitchland, and Victor Vallee in the production truck. We get ready for the land rush here in Wisconsin. Green flag in Crandon, and off the line, it looks like Magnus Okenhaug's going to take the fight ahead of everybody else. Into turn number 1, here's Robbie Larill and Adam Thomas trying to take the fight as well. Crier gets hit by, it looks like, Josh Clog. Thomas gets hit around his Crier. Last week's race winner. Into the fence is the 0-5. Going into turn 1 proper now. Hartley takes the lead. Where did he come from? Jason Hook sits in second. Side-by-side calamity from there as Okenhaug gets hit by Larill.
As I'm not trying to interrupt you quick, but if you notice the fiercely forward car that got spun around, that was our point leader, Luke Krause. So he's in the back.
I missed that one. Oh, round is Philip Krause in the 19. Everything's becoming unglued so quickly. Ray Kingsbury and Matt Kingsbury, the brothers, have come together. And as we begin the first lap proper, what is going on in Crandon?
As Hartley pulled a huge slide job on Hook, as these two teammates are battling.
Adam Thomas is leading this race.
He's running away. And you have Josh Clogger, GT expert, I would say, in this field. He's in 4th.
As Adam Thomas leads Hartley, leads Hook, Josh Clog, Robbie Larill, who had a car on his on his bumper, Howell, Kingsbury, Krause, Crier, Okenhaug, and Krause. As I missed our points leader getting turned in the calamity that was that first corner, but Adam Thomas, he loves this in that Volkswagen.
Yeah, this has been incredible. A couple of times we had a 3-way battle for the lead, then or 3 wide for the lead.
Howell inside 3-4 wide, and this is for, I think, 5th. The last lap, Andrew Howell registered his 12th. He registered his 6th. And here comes Luke Krause, the points leader, sitting in 8th, getting turned by Matt Kingsbury in turn 1.
As Crier looks to here to jump on that opportunity, as Matt's giving him the inside. Let's see if he puts the door to him, and he doesn't. But then Matt saw him coming, so he kind of moved up. So let's see if Crier was able to get the inside here going into the hairpin.
This is crucial for Krause. He can't, Luke Krause.
Kingsbury, 2-1.
As Matt, he was in a Kingsbury sandwich, and he got passed by both cars. I was just about to mention, Luke cannot afford to give up these points. Even with Phil missing a race next week, this could be detrimental to the championship. We're missing something up front. Matt Hartley trying to battle for his 2nd career win, and the former champion, we know how passionate he gets for his Rallycross, and Adam Thomas, a Lone Ranger in the Volkswagen. His teammate is an 8th.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd want to be the leader here at this point in the race.
This reminds me of a lot of races that us 4 with Victor Vallee included used to race. You could never get away from the other car, and you never want to lead.
Matt Kingsbury got turned and collected Magnus with him, as Philip Kraus is able to kind of capitalize and get 2 spots as he gets
Contact over the
As I'm going to kind of scoot up here a tiny bit, as Cryer still stuck behind these 3 drivers. Always Howell gets turned by Gray.
Oh my God. This is so exciting. I can't contain my reactions. I can't even keep up with what's going on. Bodie Cryer, who ended up in the fence before we even started the race, is battling Luke Kraus. Technically, they were battling for the win in Bark River, and now they're battling for 8th. Larill, the inside of his teammate, Kraus's teammate, Clog in the 199. Podium has not changed, but Hartley is sending it into the final corner. We're going to take a look at the lap time update as we begin lap 5, 45.709. Kraus to the inside. Howell runs it wide. Clog off the road.
As Larill
Clog comes back. He hits the tires, parks it on the apex. Howell 3 wide with Kingsbury and Kraus. Kraus in the outside points leader. Red plate in the 134 over the jump, entering turn 2.
Yeah, this battle for 6 isn't cooling down at all.
No.
Contact Kingsbury's around to the 25. Cryer hard into the fence.
And I just jinxed him.
Pandemonium everywhere.
And one guy who has benefited from all that calamity, our points leader, who has just survived all of that chaos. Let's look up front here, boys, as we begin halfway. Crossed flags in the air. 45.679 to a 45.760. Adam Thomas is maintaining pace. Maintaining pace over the 2 Subarus. Robbie Larill 45.5, so he was faster than all of those guys. Luke Kraus faster than all of those guys, 45.2. This is crucial for the Endurance Cup, because right now I think Luke Kraus might be taking that championship out of Bodie Cryer's hands.
Possibly. These top 3 or top 4 have been staying this way after Clog went off the track, but I keep noticing Hook's trying to put the pressure on his teammate here, and Hartley, as Adam Thomas has no pressure. It's about a half a second gap behind him. So as these two have been battling for the second spot of the podium, as Robbie's hoping these two start battling so he can reel them in and capitalize.
Yeah, those two have not been racing like they've been teammates all race.
Howell on the wall. As I hate to interrupt you, give me just a minute here, Dylan. We know the DGR cars are all teammates. The DF Auto Care, Ferris Shifters. We have the DGR Nitro Circus. They're all iDrive Sim Training. They're all teammates, but they also are all sub-teams. They want to beat each other, but I would almost say single file this. Get by the Volkswagen.
Yeah, they might have to throw a little bit of strategy here if they can even do that. I mean, it seems like when you start running these races and the green flag drops, there's nobody's friends anymore.
Philip Kraus off the road in the 19, nearly crashed into the leaders on the front straightaway.
And then almost bowled in the Cryer as he gets turned by
Matt in the 21. And they have history, 21 versus 19. Kraus comes out in front of Clog. We're not missing anything up front, but it's so hard to keep track. And this is my favorite thing about these tracks. It reminds me of the unrelenting chaos that NASA Rallycross truly is.
As Hook had a bad lap that last lap, and as Larill was able to close in on him, as Hook went wide, so Hartley's closing in on P2 as Larill's closing on P3.
So we've had 28 teams and 32 drivers win in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. Adam Thomas is trying to up those stats by 1 for each category. Trying to get Dirt Esport its first victory, and Volkswagen's first victory since Bo Albert won the first 2 rounds of last season. But he's got 3 Subarus on the hunt behind him. Hartley dives it in turn 3, can't make it happen.
And then, Josh, what I really like here is Adam Thomas is kind of throwing a little bit of different line at these guys. He's running up probably 2-3 lanes from the bottom, and it's working to his advantage, getting the momentum.
He's almost diamonding the corner, guys.
Larill gets P3.
White flag. Larill takes the spot from Hook. I don't think this race is over. Hartley has 1 lap left. He was 2/10 up on Thomas that last lap as we begin the final lap. here in Crandon. So much action, but we have to pay attention to the race lead. I'm looking at Howell getting bowled over by Oakenhaug for 6th. As we look at our race leaders, once again, Adam Thomas ahead of Matt Hartley. The former champion trying to get another victory, absolutely sends it into turn 3. He's going to have 1 corner left. It's going to be very hard to do it. Over the jump and into the final corner. What an unpredictable race that we have seen. Hartley's going to send it. I don't think it's going to happen. And Adam Thomas will win at Crandon. And we once again have a first-time winner in Wisconsin. Ahead of Matt Hartley, Robbie Larill comes home in 3rd. Ahead of Jason Hook. Luke Kraus, our points leader, maintains that advantage. Magnus Oakenhaug, Cryer, Kraus, Clog. I think Matt Kingsbury and Howell, did he park it? He did. Wow.
So, as being your series owner as well, can we just run here every week?
Yeah, I'm literally shaking after that main event. Like, let's just do this.
Let's just do the long and short course every week. We'll just alternate.
What an incredible show that we have just witnessed here in Crandon, and in true NASA style, Ray Kingsbury jumps over the berm. As Howell, he was 1 lap down. What happened to Howell? What happened to Howell in the 666? On the white flag, he gets passed by Cryer, he gets passed by Oakenhaug, and he parks it.
I think is kind of the same thing as Marwan. He just got really frustrated because it seemed like everyone wanted to hit the birthday boy, and he just had enough of it and decided to park.
As we'll try and bring in our top 3 in our feature race, as I'll bring in Robbie Larill and Mr. Cody Erdmann. You'll have a word with our 3rd place man, Robbie Larill.
Hey there, Robbie.
This is new.
I was gonna ask you, is this your first time on the podium here for National Rallycross?
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Congratulations on that for one.
Real quick, Cody, sorry. The practice at 3:53 and 31 seconds in the morning helped, yeah?
Yeah, I think all that practice did help a lot. It did help a lot, but then again, I was more worried about getting taken out in the start or something like that, and then all that practice just going to waste.
Okay, so speaking of the start, we've noticed that, especially in the final here, that start was insane. What were you thinking going through that first lap?
I was knowing that I had to get in, because it's kind of hard to pass on the track. There's a couple different lines, and me and Matt had been practicing them a lot, but after the start, I thought I had a good jump, and then out of nowhere, I just kind of got side-swapped, and then this car wrecked in front of me, and another one, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to end up all the way in the back or crash. But luckily, I was able to pull through, and then, yeah, the first lap, I was real nervous. I was like, man, this is going to be bad. And then slowly started to chip away at it. I'd like to chip away a little more, but it was most I can get out of it.
As you put on a great show for us. It was just amazing to watch. It was kind of like 3 battles all at once. There was like your core group, and then there was like a group behind you that kept just sliding it up. So it was a great show. When you were sitting in, when you were sitting in P4, you made that move on Hook there. Were you thinking that you were able to get up there with Hartley and Thomas and possibly battle for the win?
I think possibly if I'd have been able to get ahead a couple more laps, which I was trying to be respectful, was I don't know if I caused the accident between me and Luke, or if we kind of shared lines and we bumped into each other after. I thought I had my nose in there, but I'm not 100% sure, so I kind of felt bad after that, and I didn't want to do the same thing to Jason also. But I was hoping I'd be able to catch him. I think if I had a couple more laps, I think I'd have been able to get in there.
Yeah, as you were putting down some really good lap times there, who would you like to thank that helped you put on your first ever podium here?
I got to thank DGR, for getting me into this to begin with. DNF Auto, I thank them, and I thank y'all, man. Y'all awesome. Y'all the reason why I do this. I love to watch the commentating after the races.
Well, thank you, and thank you for putting on an amazing show. I think this is probably one of our most craziest races compared to last week where we had a photo finish. So we've had 2 amazing races, and thank you for helping us put it on. So
It's that one.
well, Well, at least you helped put on this one for
Let's
sure.
just act like you were there, okay?
Yeah,
Let's just act-
exactly.
Oh yeah,
Great run, buddy.
Yeah, I was there.
As can't wait to see you in Phoenix.
Yeah, I'll be practicing.
I'm gonna put a sign on the podium that says "No old men allowed." What the hell are you doing on this podium?
I deserved it, mate. A lot of hard practice.
I didn't say you
Yeah.
didn't deserve it at all. I want you to tell me, what did we just witness?
It was after my heat race, man, I was like a rat in the cage, mate. I was just bottled up, and I had to let something out and give it my all. And I kind of like doing that. I
Isn't
like
that
coming from the rear sometimes, chasing
Cody?
people.
I think Cody or Victor might have said it. Victor offline. There was red mist appearing in your eyes, and it certainly looked like. I believe you just confirmed that.
Yeah, I haven't been well all week either too, and I've only had like minimal practice yesterday and today, or day before yesterday maybe a little bit. But yeah, I'm getting better now. Now I feel a whole lot better. Yes, P2, well done. It was awesome.
Speaking of
just a man flu,
P2, obviously you finished second here today. With Phil, I think missing next week, you might be second in points. I mean, what is your thought on that? Granted, Luke is long gone, unfortunately, but what is your thought of second in points? Did you think you could get there at the beginning of this season?
Oh, really? Oh, not at the beginning of the season, no, with the competition, but things happen, and but yeah, then I realised I was in third there, and I thought, oh well, that's pretty good. I'll try to consolidate that, and I wasn't overthinking a second at all. Now that you mention it, now I'm going to be. Thanks, more pressure. But yeah, I did realise that Philip wasn't going to be showing up next week, and I was thinking of all these things. So I was pretty mad at the start there in the heat, but yeah, it was good. I was really pushing for first in the consolation, but I just didn't have enough time. Another half a lap, and I would have got it, I reckon.
All righty, my friend. Any partners you like to thank? Any friends, family, anything like that for this second place?
Yeah, love to thank the missus for putting up with me. Number one, love to thank mum and dad. Number two, and then Ferris Shifters, Shifty way to the top. RSW Graphics, DGR for all the help. I'd love to thank Robbie too for his sessions that he puts up, and also my teammate Jace, who did a real good job. Shame he didn't get the podium there. And just everyone around. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, NASA. Thanks, Nitro Circus. Awesome.
We will hopefully see you. Thank you, sir. We will see you next week in Phoenix.
Yeah, I haven't driven Phoenix for a while. It's not a bad track. I don't mind it. Thank you.
Oh, I moved him prematurely. Oops. Well, the most unfortunate thing is that our race winner, Adam Thomas, has a broken microphone. So, Dylan Livengood, I want you to give me, not too horribly loud, what do you think is going on in his head right now? Because I remember that race in 2013. I remember when you won your first race. What was on your mind? So what do you think's going through his?
Whenever you get your first win, that's always a special moment. He's just got to be sitting there, probably not even believing it at first. The way that this competition is just so tight. It's everything. Every race is wound up like a rubber band that's getting ready to shoot, and I'm sure he's giving himself a big pat on the back, and now he can finally breathe. I'm sure he's holding his breath the entire race.
As Charley, how was Twitchland after that race?
Oh man, everyone's absolutely stoked, including me. Just really quick, I want to say this. We throw it to the voice of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus, Josh Mertz. I was supposed to say that before the feature, so I wanted to get it in there to make sure I check all my boxes.
Can we hit the rewind button and then you say that at the beginning? No, that doesn't work on live, does it? No.
I think
we are live. But real quick, I just want to say, you guys, that I think after the last couple weeks of the Rallycross Challenge, can we have Rallycross on the channel 7 days a week and twice on Sunday? I mean, come on, this is insane.
I don't know.
Much good racing.
I don't know if you were around. I think you might have stepped away, but we said that we're going to replace every single race with Crandon.
Down, absolutely down. What a race. Good job to all the drivers out there. I know there's going to be some stuff to unwind in the post-race review panel, but absolutely awesome driving out there. I cannot wait to see how next week goes.
as I'm going to assume that was your final thought. So I will go ahead, pass the baton over to Cody Erdmann. What'd you think?
Well, at first on what Charlie said, his final checkbox. I think Charlie, I think Josh will want you to send that so that can be his ringtone every time. But no, this was an amazing show. This was probably, we had last week where we had a photo finish for the first time ever, and now we had this insane race that I was bouncing all over watching the battle for 12th to the battle for the lead, the battle for mid pack. Like, there was chaos everywhere. So super glad that we ran this race and that we keep it on the schedule. It's obviously shows that it puts on an amazing show, and I can only imagine how fun it was to be a driver for this, to throw slide jobs on each other and work your way through the field, even though that lane row start is just absolutely insane. I wish we could have that for every week.
And Dylan, you want to wrap your final thought up here?
Yeah, the racing here was amazing. To pull one out of Kyle Busch's, or to say something that Kyle Busch said, if you don't like this racing, then don't even watch. I mean, there was racing up and down the field. This was in the true spirit of NASA Rallycross, and it's amazing to see how tight these races are. And again, congratulations to the winner, and we'll see what happens next week in Phoenix.
As a couple of programming notes for Nitro Circus Twitch, powered by the Automotive Sports Network, we go for round number 7 of the Penguin RC Simulation NASA Sports Car Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus, the Grand Prix of Miami, June 21st at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll join myself, Mike Berry, Victor Vallee, and Charlie Daniels for that one. Wednesday, round number 9 of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus. iDrive Sim Training presents the Battle of Phoenix. We go to the Phoenix International Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. Coverage also begins 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Charlie Daniels, give me a Twitch update for Nitro Circus, and then we'll say sayonara.
Absolutely. I gave the whole spiel during warm-up for the feature, but for the immediate programming note, join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Micah Plays Games. Don't know what the game is going to be yet. It's probably going to be more Wreckfest and or more Rocket League, but join our Discord and you'll get to find that out ahead of time. That's tomorrow, Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel.
As from all of us here at Nitro Circus Twitch and the Automotive Sports Network on Demand, remember, join the conversation, hashtag NASA on Nitro, hashtag ASMTV USA, and at NASA on iRacing. And from all of us here on the broadcast team, Cody Erdmann, Mike Berry for GT, Victor Vallee in the production truck, Charlie Daniels in Twitch land, Dylan Livengood special guest, and I hope that you can show up for the next couple weeks. I am Josh Mertz, and we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. But from all of us, we will see you either Monday or Wednesday next week. But until then, so long, everyone.